NFC West time as we discuss team needs for the 4 teams out west in the NFC. The full breakdown's over at ProFootballFocus.com. Mike, let's start with the Arizona Cardinals. Let's just assume that they hit their quarterback situation, which isn't a need, but they're going to take Kyler Murray #1 overall. That's our prediction. What about hitting their other key needs, starting with O-line with the rest of their draft picks?
Well, probably starting and ending with O-line with the rest of their draft picks. They need to fix that.
We didn't even say tackle or guard. Or yeah. We said O-line as a whole.
If you're bringing in Kyler Murray, you better protect him. You better protect him better than you protected Josh Rosen last year. Even if you're sticking with Josh Rosen, you better protect him better than you protected him last year. You need something up front there. So 1, 2, 3 picks. I mean, day 2 could just be O-line for them.
And potential picks, you look at Greg Little from Ole Miss would be a really good fit. We've been throwing the name Chris Lindstrom from Boston College at guard, throwing his name around quite a bit. I mean, there's a number of different ways to go, but O-line, certainly a need for Arizona. We also said cornerback, another place where it feels like they continue to look for that guy opposite Patrick Peterson. Outside of a random good year from Tramon Williams, it's been a pretty big need for a few years now.
Yeah, it is still a big need, but I think you have the ability to play man coverage there with Patrick Peterson, get another man corner across from him. I love David Long. You can play matchups. Peterson bigger, Long smaller, shiftier. I think that would be a nice pairing there, the Michigan cornerback.
Love that fit there. And then if they do decide to go wide receiver on the turn, bringing in Christian Kirk last year, he did a really nice job as a rookie. Larry Fitzgerald's getting a little bit older. Couple different ways to go with wide receivers here, though, and that's where the value is in probably that late first, early second round. I think Arizona could get a guy like Marquise Brown to complement Kyler Murray, maybe even a Hakeem Butler, the big guy from Iowa State.
Hakeem Butler would make a lot of sense, just some size in there because Larry Fitzgerald is towards the end of his career. It's not going to happen too much long with him. Butler could learn from one of the best in terms of how to use all that size that he has because he isn't quite there yet. He's pretty raw, needs some development, but they need offensive line talent, wide receiver talent, some talent offensively.
The Cardinals' second round is going to be one of the biggest stories, I think, of the entire draft, figuring out what they do with that pick. Let's move on to the Los Angeles Rams and their needs. Center, a glaring need now with John Sullivan retiring, and they might have the best fit in the entire draft available to them in the late first round.
Yeah, if Garrett Bradbury gets to them at 31, hard to believe he wouldn't be the pick. NC State ran more outside zone than any team in college football. Rams run more outside zone than any team in the NFL. It is match made in heaven.
And he's really good at it. He's really good. He got those movement skills to run that scheme. What about edge defender? Another place the Rams, we've had it up here as a need for quite a while for them.
Yeah, that could be where they go at the top of round 1. I think someone like Chase Winovich, if he's going to sneak into the first round, could make sense to them. That still might be a little. Teams might not see him that highly, but I think they need someone NFL ready, and I think he kind of is from that perspective. Athletic, already has a handful of pass rush moves, could contribute from day 1. Similar to, the comps to Clay Matthews, who's on that roster already, aren't pretty unwarranted. They were similar players coming out.
I do like that comparison. I haven't heard that one before, actually. And then what about a developmental tackle? Andrew Whitworth, he's like 50 years old at this point. Still going strong, but they got to get that next developmental tackle in there.
Yeah, just keep adding talent to that offensive line. It's the lifeblood of this team. Someone there on day 2. Day 3, we love Chuma Edoga with he can do with his athleticism, and is definitely a developmental guy, undersized, needs to add strength, so could use a year and then be your guy.
Could be a sneaky good pass protector. Let's move on to the San Francisco 49ers. In their needs, corner and edge, they kind of go hand in hand. They need to rush the passer better, but they need to cover better. We think they'll probably get Nick Bosa with the edge pick, with the number 2 overall pick. And if they do that, what happens at cornerback? I think they still have some pretty good options in the second round.
Yeah, second round, I think if you can get another long corner, pair across from Richard Sherman, and Ahkello Witherspoon, it's not giving up on him, it's just saying we need to address one of the most valuable positions in the NFL. I think someone like Justin Lane could learn a lot from Richard Sherman, a former, he played wide receiver, similar to Sherman in college at Michigan State there, could add ball skills across from him. Just, they were so weak there a season ago that you got to do something.
All right, so let's say they get Lane on the turn in the second round at corner, probably Bosa to supply that edge need, and then guard, another place where they've tried to attack in recent years and still have some question marks up front.
Yeah, I think guard is still a need. Right guard there, someone inside of Mike McGlinchey. I like the Wisconsin guard, Michael Dieter. He's probably going to be somewhere around round 3, that the value would be there for the 49ers.
All right, let's go to the Seattle Seahawks and their needs. I can't believe we're talking about cornerback as a need for the Seattle Seahawks because it seems like it's been a strength for so long, but their coverage has Coverage and pass rush has gone down dramatically the last 2 years. So the fact that cornerback, their number 1 need, edge, their number 3 need, really telling as far as where the Seattle defense has come.
Yeah, I think edge makes a lot more sense to address in round 1 in terms of how top heavy that class is. You're not going to get that same presence in round 2, but there's a lot of project long corners in this draft that in round 2 might make sense. Someone like Jamil Dean, someone like Amani Oruwariye could be on the board there that would fit their scheme and be able to work in that defense. Whereas the edge talent in round 2, I'm not sure it's going to be there. Someone like Brian Burns is on the board round 1. I'd hope that that's the pick.
Burns would be a fantastic fit for them. Whether or not they keep Frank Clark, just having those 2 guys though would be fantastic. And then guard, another place where I think people think that the Seattle O-line was better last year. They're taking small steps forward, but it's not like they're good across the board.
It wasn't wholesale better. A lot of that was to do with the run game success was a lot to do with the run scheme, a lot of options there, more options than anyone else in the NFL. That helps you out a lot. And I do think the interior, added Mike Iupati, still have DJ Fluker, both have issues in pass protection still at this point. I like someone like Nate Davis out of Charlotte, has the body type they like, bigger offensive guard there, has experience at tackle, holds up better in pass pro than those 2 though.
And the best stance in the entire draft.
Best stance.
It's the best. Love, fun to watch guy. So there you have it. It's your NFC West team needs. For the full breakdown, be sure to get to ProFootballFocus.com.